Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. It's Jay from Mitosu Crafts and welcome to our channel. So today I'll be creating two cards featuring the ink and tile bundle. So that's the stamp set and the punch pack with these two designs. So the cards that I'll be creating today are the cards that I shared as my artisan projects for last month, and I'll be doing a square card and a slimline card using various card making techniques. So I'll start off with a small square card. So I have a basic white thick card, 4 by 8, folded in half at 4 inches, or that's 10.2 by 20.4 centimeters, folded in half at 10.2. So you have a square card base. I've got a piece of layer 1, which is 3/3 of an inch squared, or that is 9.5 centimeter squares. I've got a layer 2, which is 2/3 of an inch, or that's 7 centimeters there, and some offcuts of basic white, shall I say, blast from the past there, to do some punching and stamping. So before I do that, I'll emboss this one. So this could have been a simple card without the embossing, but I really like the embossing, and I'll change the embossing folder using the Emboss Brick 3D embossing folder. So this is new from the annual catalog from Stampin Up, and we just got it recently, so I thought I might as well. So I'm just gonna stick that in, and the original I'll show, but I used the Fern 3D embossing folder. But I think other than this one, there's no need for any die cutting, because it's mostly the punch that I used, which is great. So really easy with the sandwich of 1 and 4. And I believe, yeah, so with this one, the front with the Stampin' Up logo, you get the embossed, and then the back you get the deboss. But with these type of designs, I do prefer the deboss side, so I knew that was gonna happen, so I turned it round and had my writing with the Stampin' Up logo. Anyway, that's that. So for my stamping, I'm gonna stamp my leafings, and we're gonna do some two-tone. So the inks that I'll be using are Lemon Lime Twist and Shaded Spruce. So to create the two-tone effect easily, we'll also use the sponge dauber. So the dauber to stamp technique, I guess. So ink up in Lemon Lime Twist, and then Shaded Spruce, we're just gonna ink that up using the sponge dauber around the stalk and the inside of the leaves. So as this is a punch bundle, there is no die for this, so you'll have a lovely time fussy cutting the image, if you want to fussy cut it, that is, if I do it that way. And there you go, you got a lovely two-tone effect. I do love using this technique to easily add different colors onto your images. So I have gone ahead and fussy cut that using the paper snips, just so you don't have to watch me. The one of the advantage of being pre-recorded, I guess. So for the sentiment, I'm just gonna keep it the same. I'm gonna use Hello Friend, and that is gonna be stamped in memento. Let's hope that is in the center. And I'm just gonna punch that out. So just aim for the middle. I try to kind of like keep it in place by holding it, lightly pinching, so I can, it's not too far out and it's kind of like pinched in the punch. Hopefully that makes sense. And then I can move it along where I want it centrally and then punch. So that was quite good. And also we're gonna do 6 of the other design. I only need 1. Ooh, I think I'll just use another piece. There we go. So now we have our sentiment, our element, leaves, and I've gone ahead and done 6 of these, or 5 in total, but for 2 of them we're gonna create corner, I guess it looks like photo corners, or just corner reinforcers, shall I say. And I'll quickly share how I've done that using the paper trimmer. So align the 2 opposite points along your trimmer track. Just make sure that it is straight. Use a sticky tape if needed to keep it in place, and score that in half. Turn it 90 degrees and realign the opposite points. Stick it down again, and we're gonna cut it. So I tend to put the blade right in on the card and then cut out, and then go back in and cut out, just because of the pointed ends. Is just better so you don't catch the points. So now that is done, I have got gray granite light, and we're gonna color that. So if you want your folded side or the spine of the corners, both corners, we'll just call it that, on the side, then, or you can just color the whole thing. But if you just want to color bits of it, you don't have to color the whole thing. So if I want this on the top, if we fold that in, so I'll need that left and then that right. So using the brush tip, just color that in. Now you might be thinking, why don't you just punch the gray granite? Just because I do think that the light stamping blends are lighter than the gray granite cardstock, and I like the different tones of it because we will be doing some more stamping with the gray granite. So now we have that so in place, and then for the stamping, we're gonna stamp on layer 1. I think I need to, and for that we're just gonna create a border. So using the brush stroke mark and gray granite. So with the curve down, I'm just gonna line this up. So that is really dark. I think originally I did second generation. So I'm just gonna use this. So stamp off. So easy peasy, I can just turn it over. I knew I had to double check that. And stamp off. And then stamp on. So I'm using the bottom line as my guide. That's it. On the image, and align that along the edge of each side. So I'm gonna just ink up, stamp on, off even, line that up, and then stamp. That's fine. I didn't stamp off properly, but it's quite a nice texture there. And then last one, we're just gonna add this on. There we go. Now we can construct our card. Just move all of my items. So we have all of these is mainly white. So when adding this on, you just need, ooh, so sorry. And just add a tiny bit of glue. Ooh, don't be blobby like that. And line it up. So because of the fold on one side, it's slightly out, or it's not flushed against the card edge. So just mirror that on the other side so it doesn't look too yeah, it doesn't look out of place, if that makes sense. So if that one's too flush and that one isn't, just keep that in mind. So just gonna go ahead and add all of these along the corners. And sometimes you may need to, especially if your trimmer's like mine. I'm sure it was fine earlier. I have been doing some cutting for our online card making class. So that one's gonna go like that. So our blade does go quite quickly. We do card making class every second Tuesday of the month online. So it seems to be every Tuesday we have something. On the first Tuesday of the month we have our our team gathering. Second Tuesday we have our online class. Third Tuesday we have our in-person class, which is more of like someone hosting the class, so we go to their house. And then fourth Tuesday I do my online coloring masterclass. Where does that go? That way. So yes, so if you are interested in crafting along with us, do check out the links in the description below, and all upcoming classes or the replay. You can revisit the replay to online classes and coloring master classes are all on the website as well. And of course, any current Stampin' Up! Products are available from our online shop. If you live in the UK, France, Germany, Austria, Netherlands, Belgium, or Ireland. So now that is done, I might go that way just so I can hide. Yeah, that's just gonna get added on straight in the middle. and it should give you a small border. That will fit nicely in the center as well. Just double check that it is centralized. That looks good. And for the crosses, I have added dimensionals on there. So just give it about an 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters gap around the edges. So it's all layered up. I know the embossing is kind of like hidden a little bit, but you can still see it through on some of the areas. And now we're gonna add our leaf, but before we do that, I will add a strip. So this is gingham ribbon. I'm just gonna fold it in half and add that on using mini glue dot. So fold that in half. And add another glue dot. So that is just gonna go across the center. We can cut off the tails afterwards, and that's just gonna get added on. So this can be added on using some more mini glue dots, just because if it hits the ribbon, it just sticks really easily, quicker. So you can also shape using the side at the open, so the side of your paper snips before adding that on. And that's just gonna get maybe higher. But if you want more adhesion, of course you can just add a blob of Tombow, just to make sure that that is secure on most areas. That's done, and you can add this on flat, but I added another layer of dimensional. So for this one, I'm gonna add mini glue dots, and I will add it in the corners of each. Crosses, or maybe not that one. Yeah, let's do that one. There we go. That's gonna get added centrally as well. Keep in mind the distance, like around the elements as well underneath. And then finally we're gonna add some more embellishment and trim. So linen thread, I'm gonna do a double bow. Wish me luck. So the tail on the left hand side, I'm just gonna do a couple of swooshes. Actually, I want it slightly bigger, so 4 fingers, 2 round, and then cut on the end, pinch it in the center, and then you can twist it round. Now you can use a block. Can I see a block? Yeah, there. Just to keep that in place, and then cut yourself another piece so you can knot it in the center. It is slightly fiddly, or you can, but that seems to be alright. Or you can use a mini glue dot to keep it in place, but that was okay. And then you can just, is that the correct one? No, that one. Make sure that it's nice and tight. You can make sure your loop are the same, and then we're just gonna add mini glue dot. I do like folding my mini glue dot just because I don't want to see I don't want to see the end or too much of the mini glue dot, so that's fine. Put that in the corner there. Zhuzh it up a little bit more, or the, just make sure that you can see both loops. And then finally we have the Incolors glossy dots, or Incolor dots. So again, I'm just gonna use the small one. Ooh. Along the side. And just tidy up our tail. So just there we go. So that is the first card. I really like this card. It's quite white but with a pop of color, and I really like the corners done that way. And this is my original, so pretty much the same. My linen thread is slightly everywhere, but that's fine. I quite like it up and down. Or I like it now. That's fine. So that is the first card. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so. Share to your crafty friends would be amazing. So for the next card, we'll do some more stamping and punching. For this one, I did change my card base to a darker shaded spruce. So it's the Slimline card, landscape format. This is 8 1/4 by 7 inches, folded in half at 3 1/2, or 21 centimeters by 17.8 centimeters, folded at 8.9. I'm just gonna burnish that because I think I forgot to do that earlier. For my layer 1, I have 8 inches by 3 1/4. So that is, I didn't check what my measurements was. Let's have a look. So normally 1/4 of an inch is 3 or 6, 3, 6. What's that? 21 minus 6. 20.4. 3 1/4 would be 3 1/2. So 8.9 minus 6, 8.3 centimeters. Or I could have just used this. 20.4. It's slightly larger because it's a different sizing. 8.3. Yeah. Or like sometimes I don't use a ruler that way because I have to change some of the dimensions. Anyway, that's what I'm saying it is. Layer 2, or no, layer, the layer that we'll be stamping on, 6¾ of an inch by 2/3/8, and we're gonna cut that into three panels at 2¼ or that is 7.1 by 6 centimeters, and then cut into threes at 5.7. I've gone ahead and pre-cut my Pretty Peacock mat for the stamping layer. So this is 2/3/8 by 2.5 or 6 centimeters by 6.3. So I have those three later on. So what do I need to do first? So we'll do the stamping first, actually. So for the stamping, right, 2.25, I'm gonna write it down because, oh no, I can just turn it over, can't I? There we go. So for this one, we'll be using the main floral image of inked and tiled, and we'll be stamping that in Memento. We've also got the funky abstract flower dandelion, so that's that one. And also the, oh yes, I do need to clean that, the swish swoosh brush stroke. There we go. So that is now tidy, that one and that one. So the inks I'll be using are Lemon Lolly, Balmy Blue, and Memento, and I'll also be using some stamping blends, which is Tahitian Tide and Flirty Flamingo. Random colors, right? I thought it was, but I think it looks really nice together. So we will do Lemon Lolly first with the swish swoosh. I'm just gonna get, sorry, it's a bit of a mess. Scrap paper, it's scrap paper, right? So this one we're just gonna kind of like just add it along the corner, so to kind of like create the frame. There we go. And then we're gonna add a swish swoosh right in the center, maybe the other way. So we're just building our, yeah, that's fine, background, and we might as well use the stamp that's on the set. Maybe add another one there. And I use Lemon Lolly because tone on tone will be a lot darker, and once it's dried, I'm sure you can see a hint of Lemon Lolly. There we go. So the stamp is there, and we're just gonna randomly stamp our flower. So this one, just ink up probably halfway because most of it won't be seen. So we're just gonna stamp this randomly. And then ink up. Again, just change the orientation or kind of like the direction even. So that one will go that way. Ink it up. I normally do it that way so I can easily put the lid on. Up and one more. And because it's random, I don't think I've done this pretty like in the same area as my original, but it's all good. Or what you could do is you can cut it in threes already if you really want it centralized within the 3 panels, but I think it's just easier this way. So now that is done, we can kind of like see where those flowers are. Now we can add our balmy blue. Again, this is stamped off, so ink up, stamp off, and then I'm just gonna add it quite near the flowers. Of course, change the directions and go. Just remember to stamp off. That's why I have to say that out loud, because otherwise I'll forget myself. There we go. Oh, completely missed that one. Right. And maybe just top corners as well, just so it doesn't look too bottom heavy. But we'll be adding the sentiment on top there. I think that's all good. It's just random stamping. Again, balmy blue, stamped off lighter. I guess I could have used Pool Party. Maybe I did, but there we go. So now that's done, I'm just gonna get my Tahitian tide. I'll quickly check if it's dark. So I believe I used Tahitian Tide Light and the Flirty Flamingo Light. So literally just going over the black stamped flowers, but adding the colors underneath. So really quick coloring, block coloring really. Oh, are you running out? Do I have another one? Flirty Flamingo Light. Yes, I do. And this card is actually inspired by photography, I guess, or kind of like the inverted or X-ray look. I don't know what but that's what kind of like it inspired me to use these colors and having the vignette look afterwards. Seeing as I have my Flirty Flamingo open, I know I've kept my Tahitian Tide open. And that one. I think that's it. And then let's start on the left to right. So yes, so let me know in the comments if you've already got this bundle. It is from a suite. So for my Artisan project, we're only instructed to use the bundle and not use the colors of the suite. I'm not even sure what the suite is called. I'll just get the catalog. I forgot. Inked and tiled. Where are we? 95. So page 95. Inked botanicals. So the colors on the suite is petal pink, calypso coral, crush curry, lost lagoon, and pool party. So maybe that's why I didn't use pool party, because I didn't want to use colors from the DSP. So yes, that's why I use balmy blue. We'll go with that, but there you go. So now that is done, I still need that. We're gonna cut it in 3 sections, 2 1/4 or 5.7, 2 1/4, 2 1/4. So now we have 3 panels. We're gonna ink blend along the edges. As I mentioned, I wanted the vignette look. So shaded spruce, maybe I forgot to mention that in color, but I used it earlier. So ink up, excess off, and then just go around the edges. So you don't need to add much, not really. He says, I'm holding the blending brush head just for more pressure and to add the ink or color quicker. Go and done, and one last side. So now it's like the lemon lolly is actually dried. It's a lot lighter. I'll bring it up again. Hopefully you saw earlier how dark it was. And do let me know if you agree that you can still see yellow on the Parakeet Party. Did I say what color that was? That was Parakeet Party. I can't remember. Did I? I probably didn't, knowing me. So yes, stamping on colored cardstock. Parakeet Party. Another in color. There you go. So especially that one, I think you can see it's a different shade on the Parakeet Party card base, card layer. So now that's done, what else we need to do? We are just going to, whilst we're stamping and getting inky, I will white emboss. That is it. White emboss my sentiment, lots of love, or there's other sentiments in the set, just a note, a happy birthday actually, let's remind ourselves. Just a note, lots of love, congratulations. I thought being a big slimline card, I thought lots of love would have been great. Is a great sentiment for it. It's a special card. Again, happy birthday, thank you, and hello friend would work as well, but I wanted I wanted a straight sentiment, so I opted for lots of love. But of course, there's plenty of sentiment stamps by Stampin' Up. Just check out the website or excuse me, our online shop. So yes, prepare your card base. I have lots of love here. Versamark, just ink the up. If you're new to card making and Versamark or heat embossing, just make sure you prepare cardstock first. Don't just gently tap your stamp on your ink pad. Don't squish it down. No squishy, please. Additions toolkit. Ooh. Right. Just make sure, because it's a tiny piece, it's better to have the tweezers now. Sprinkle top of the excess and heat set. So I normally heat set from the bottom. Did that L doesn't look like it's stamped properly. Yachts of love. What do you think? I think I need to do that again. Okay, don't want to waste powder. I'll just do it again on the other side. A must have, because yeah, I didn't stamp down properly. That feels a lot better. I think I had it at an angle. So yes, when you stamp, make sure it's parallel to your card. And not at the wonk. And don't rock it. No rocking. No squishing, no rocking. Because especially with the red rubber, if you squish, you'll get a halo. You might be an angel and you love halos, but not with your stamping. So yes, so oh, I did it on the same side. Silly me. But easily done. Or if you're not, if you're not paying attention. Okay, third time lucky. Come on. I just wanted to show that everyone makes mistakes. It's not a stressful thing if you do. You can just read stamp. That is much better. Right, heat set. Yeah, I'll heat set from underneath and keep it to one place until you see it turn into a shiny surface, or yeah, and then move along. So I'll just do that now. So there we go. Yeah, once it starts turning, you it takes longer for the heat tool to kind of like get itself into the right temperature, but once it starts, it's a lot faster to continue on. So I'm just gonna cut that down. Might as well whilst we're here. Ooh, okay, so it's slightly. It's not straight, but we could always embrace the wonk. So I'm using that and eyeballing it, that it's straight along that line. Let us hope it is. If not, again, it's all good. So once you have a straight line that you think you have, you can just move it along. you sticking out. Okay. And that looks straight to me. So that is now done. What next? Ah, I know. So we have our layer. So originally I did use dimensional for these. It's not that it's harder, it's it gives it a bit more height, so of course postage is a thing. So you can just pop it down flat. So I'm just gonna do that. But if you're hand delivering them, you can add another layer of dimensional, because the sentiment will be on dimensional. So really quick, just mat and layering. And I added the arrows, I don't know if you saw on the mat, just because it's not square, it's just slightly off square. It's rectangular, but I would have seen it. It was just easier to keep it upright in the first place, and a quick visual guide. Now that is done. So for the layer, this layer, we're gonna do some punching. So I've already shown how to do the corners, kind of like a more robust, I guess, photo corner or card corners. So this one is actually just adding the corner using the punch. So how to create kind of like an interesting border for your layer. So I'm gonna use the nice side. And to do that, you're basically just going to align, or that way actually is easier. There we go. So the corner, align that with your card edges. Does that make sense? I'm just eyeballing it like that, and then punch it out. Ooh, yeah. So you can save those as well, of course, to just not check, but to add onto the edges or to the corners of your card base. I'm hoping 1, 2, 3. Or an easier way, without guessing where it is, you can score it and then punch it, but you'll have the score lines onto your corner, if that makes sense. Four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you have an elongated, funky edged corners. So with your paper trimmer, it worked out as being a 1/4 of an inch. So the first line on your paper trimmer is the line of that corner. So you could always score it first if you prefer. So for this one, I'm just gonna add a couple of score lines. So a score line, 1/4 of an inch, because you're gonna be scoring it anyway, and then you can go back and do an 1/8 of an inch. So if it's hard to align that at 1/8 of an inch, look on the left hand side. I think I made that really funky look. I didn't align it properly, but one side should be straight anyway. I couldn't see, well, that's my excuse. I'm sure it's fine. So 1/4 inch, and then 1/8 inch. So 1/4 inch, and 1/8 inch. So just do take your time aligning it, your punch, or as I said, score it first. It'll be a lot easier. I am way off on most of them, look. And this scoring bit, in my original, I actually did it afterwards. I was like, oh, it actually matched. So I knew it was off. So if it is off, and I'm just gonna, how do you do it there? It's not that much off, to be fair. This one is quite off, quite off. So not it, again, it's not that much. I think I'm just being too, just use up there. So use, what is it called, paper snips, just to tidy it up. Yeah, my original, it was already stuck down, so I was kind of like, oh, I was lucky, maybe, or paying more attention to my edges. Anyway, so because of that, I probably need to cut a couple more. We'll see, because you can tell the funky edges on that one. Have I got another? Or what you could do is just cut that into 4. If that doesn't work, it's fine. So I'm just gonna add this on, cut this into 4. So paper trimmer again. Is it 4? 1? No, I need another one. No, I'm sure. 4. Center down. Oh, I didn't go all the way out. And then one edge should be fine. Yeah, 4. And it should be stay. There we go. Again, much better. So you can add, again, you can color your edges if you prefer to match or mimic the colors on there. I kept it white myself, but let's just double check. Do I want you colored? White. Parquet Party. You know what? Shall we color it? We'll color it. Parquet Party, I know it's really bright in the blends. Now you do have, the next one is Lemon Lime Twist. If we use this, and then we can check. So this is Lemon Lime Twist Light. How does that look? That I like that. Yeah, we'll go with it. So easier to color, I would say, before you cut it, just because it's tiny areas. One. And I'm trying to do it systematically, or like in one line, if I can, and try to work quickly as well, so you don't see too much lines on there, and the color should blend whilst the alcohol is wet. But did you see? So that was lemon lime twist light. So if we just add these in the corners, how long have I been on? Wow, it's like alive. I was like, oh yeah, I'll pre-cut or prepare most of it. But of course you can always make it simpler. But hopefully you like the ideas in these cards and how to extend the use of your punch. Now it's mostly the crosses that it's the cross design that I really like, and I've done a tag as well. For the tag, actually, I used this one, so you can create long tags or tag shape. So now that is done, we're just gonna add our layer. So it should have a border. And for this one, start off on the edge. Is that how it goes? So just check how far. So yeah. Lay it down and start on one end first. Just don't make it too close to the center. And you kind of like want, again, a nice border. Here. And then you can copy the space on the right hand side. You can use a T ruler. I do have one. I don't use it enough. How do you use it? Where is it? I guess that way. So keeping that in place, I can make sure that that is in the correct area, and it was fine. We'll go with it, it's fine. And then finally the center. So now that we have both sides, you can just match the top and then align and then have a equal gap. That looks great. And then finish up. What are we gonna do is just embellish it. So fold This is the boho blue textured ribbon. Fold that in half. And another glue dot. I normally like doing or adding embellishments or ribbons and things like that on the side, but I thought, well, I want it quite centralized on here, so that's why I did the stamping slightly lower on those. I should have gone further up. This is the Tahitian Tide Baker's Twine from the pack, so the In Color Baker's Twine pack. I've just done, see, I forgot that I added this underneath. Okay, that's fine. So another glue dot. I will, that one's already got one. I'll do it upside down. Fold that in. There we go. I don't know why I did it that way. I think I wanted to hide the knot, but then I decided the sentiment was going over the knot anyway, so you can see it. But I like the idea of the twine coming out of that ribbon. So with this one, dimensional, as mentioned earlier. And because of that knot, just add dimensional on one side. You can add mini glue dot up because I have time for it to kind of like dry. I'm just gonna blob it with, what are you? Tombow, that's the name of it. And then just tidy up my ribbons. And I do I want you smaller? Yes. It's like giving a haircut. There we go. And then finally, I have my last bits of brush butterflies. So I'm just gonna add 2 on the right. Ooh, it's flying off. And then 1 on the left near the sentiment. Shall we have you in the loop? There we go. No, it's been caught. It's caught in a trap, but it's a hard trap. Anyway, that is my second card for tonight's live. So using the Inked Tile bundle, this is the original, so pretty the same. As I mentioned, I kept it. It's Granny Apple Green, the base, so I changed the card base. I also added that on dimensionals up there. So we have that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and hopefully you've learned something and use it into your card painting. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time, bye.